Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft video. But today we're going to be doing something different. Instead of hopping into Minecraft, we're actually going to go up here to this tab under Bedrock Edition and click on Creator Tools. Now this is a very interesting thing. I like this a lot. It's a new thing that Minecraft has come out with recently. As you can see, it's still in beta. But it's like World Edit, but for Bedrock, which I really like. So today, I'm going to show you how to use it for yourself. So let's hop in. Now first things first, you're going to need to create a new project. Now when you click on Create Project, it's going to show up with all the settings of a normal world. You can change these, and when you export the world, this is going to affect your gameplay. But I'm just going to go ahead, change the name. That's all I'm going to do. Well, I'll also change it to creative. But let's create this and check out those tools. See what we can truly do with this new tool in Minecraft. When we get in, right away you can tell this is not a normal Minecraft world. First things first, here we got the viewport. This is where you actually look at the world and edit it. If you want to look around, just moving your cursor won't work. You actually have to hold down right click and then you can look around. And it's the same with WASD, space shift, do nothing, then you hold right click, and now they allow you to move in your world. So first, let's go ahead and look at, well, actually what will happen is when you first open it up, this will pop up. This tells you how to use it, but you don't need that because you got me, so you can go ahead and exit that out. But if you do want to read up about it anyways, you can go here, click on documentation, that'll open up a tab, and it'll show you Microsoft's explanation on how to use this. So first things first, let's go ahead and get rid of this, and let's look at these tools we have on the left rail over here. If you want to make it so that the options disappear when you take your cursor off of it, simply click that button. Now it's gone, and once you hover over it again, it opens back up. So I'm going to leave that locked. Now, let's look at selection mode first. By default, it's going to be in Marquee mode, which just means that you can select a block and, change the amount of area that you've selected. Another way to select a lot of blocks is to click on one block, look somewhere else, hold shift, and then click on another block. And those will be the two corners of your selection. Now if you don't want to select the block, but rather select on top of the block, go over here, click on this, turn it from block to adjacent, and now your selection goes on top of the block instead of inside of it. If you want multiple selections, what you can do is you can hold down Control when you select a new block, and then Shift, and now you have multiple selections. Now what you can do with these selections, we have three actions right here. You can delete everything inside the selection. As you can see, it's gone. It's just air now. You can fill the selection with whatever block you have chosen up here. This is your hotbar. So if I want to fill it with glowstone, simply click on the glowstone and then click fill. You can also use your numbers to select from your hotbar. So if I wanted to fill it with moss instead, I can hit 7 and then fill, and it will fill it with moss. And if I want to remove this selection, I simply hit remove, or hit deselect, and the selection is gone. I'm free to select somewhere else. There is also project through water. when you have this selected, it'll allow you to select underneath the surface of the water. Like in the sea here, I can select the area under the sea. But if I turn off project through water, then now my selection is on top of the water. Or if I have block mode activated, it is the top block of the water. And now, select the water just like that. This can be useful if you want to, well, select something at the bottom of the ocean without having to remove an entire section of the ocean. It is on by default, but obviously you can turn it off. Here you can change the origin of your selection by putting in coordinates, and you can change the size. This is the X size, Y, and Z. So as you can see, as I decrease the X-axis, the X size decreases. If I go in here and increase it, the X size will increase. Next, we have paste preview. What it'll allow you to do is say I have selected this area here. I hit Ctrl C. Now that is copied to my clipboard. If I go to paste preview, then it'll show me what I am pasting and where I'm pasting it. So if I wanted to paste it on top of the block, right here, then I can see that I'm doing that, and then when I left click, it does it. Simple as that. I can also change the origin, so if I wanted it to be at, let's see, if I wanted it to be at 100, 20, 13, then now my cursor is there inside of the paste. Now, since 100 is too big and 20 is too big, it just brought me to the opposite edge. So this will now allow me to, if I click block, it'll allow me to paste it inside of the ground fully, instead of on top of the surface, like this. You can also use an offset. So if I put 100 as the offset, now it seems to have disappeared, but actually it's all the way over there, 100 blocks away on the x-axis of my cursor. Just like that. You can also rotate it, which is rather convenient. And you can mirror the X, mirror the Z, stuff that cannot be achieved with purely rotation. So that's what we have for the paste preview. Very convenient. Shows you exactly what you're about to do before you do it. Now we have the line. Now before we do the line, I'm going to show you world. If you go to world options, you have an option for change dimension right here, and it'll just teleport you to your current coordinates but in a different dimension. So let's hop on over to the end, and I'll show you how to use the line. Here we are in the end. Now, when you use the line, it, well, draws a line between two blocks. So if I select this block right here and this block over there, it draws the straightest line between the two. Then I can choose to fill the selection with whatever is chosen in my hotbar. So currently moss is chosen and moss is filled. Width and height currently do not work. I believe this is because it is in beta still, but you can do a different form of selection. There's fixed distance, where you can use your scroll wheel to move your selection further or closer to the camera in the air, so you do not have to select on a block. just like that. Another way is adjacent face, which means that instead of choosing in the block, it chooses on top of the block, so that you do not actually replace the block itself when you fill the selection. Unlike with freeform. Now there is also multiple ways to draw lines. Currently I have it set to direct, but if I wanted to make it look more like someone bridged from one place to another, I can go ahead and change that to staggered. Now, when I select two blocks, first it'll change 3 axes all at the same time, and then once one axis is correct, it'll change 2 axes. And then once two of the axes are correct, it'll only change 1 axis until it has reached its destination. This is a lot more like something that someone would bridge with. You can go ahead, fill that in. Now it looks, or could look, like someone bridged with amethyst from there to there. You also have this selection right here, surface contour, which means that when you select between 2 places, instead of drawing a direct line, it will draw along the surface. Which doesn't seem to be working currently. Which is interesting since I just recently had it working. But what this is supposed to do is when you select it, it'll take the 2 blocks that you chose and will either go directly or staggered, depending on which one of these you have chosen. And instead of just filling in the air, it will replace the topmost block with whatever block you have chosen in your hotbar. Next we have Summon tool. You can search up a mob or select a mob from the list, say a husk. Then you can select a spot on the ground and it will spawn the mob. If you want, you can rotate the mob. And that's really all it is. Next we have ruler tool. This would be convenient if you wanted to build something to scale from real life into Minecraft. You can pick 2 blocks. It'll tell you how far south it moved, how far east it moved, and how far down it moved. And then it'll tell you the length, which is 71.3 blocks or 71.3 meters between that block and that block. Pretty interesting. Not a whole lot of uses, but I'm sure there are some. Next we have the brush tool. This is a really good tool. You can choose a shape or just a single block, and it'll allow you to paste that shape with the block you have chosen in your hotbar. You can also click and drag to paste it over and over, and you can change the size of your brush just like that. Now for the cone or the pyramid, if you want a perfect cone or pyramid, then the height actually has to be half that of the length or radius. Otherwise, you get 2 blocks up at a time instead of 1. There is also this uniform selection. Currently, when I change the radius, it changes both the length and the width to 6, or whatever number I choose. But if I turn off uniform, then I can change them separately, so I can have it be really wide, but not really deep, and create something more like this. I can also choose which way the cone faces. So I can have it on the y-axis, which is going up and down. I can have it on the x-axis, going just like that, or on the z-axis, going the other direction. Pretty cool. The fill constraints, I haven't been able to get those to work yet, so it is probably something else that is in beta. But pretty simple. Allows you to paste a shape of really whatever block you want. You can click and drag. Now beware, if you have a very large shape and you click and drag, it can be rather graphically intense, so it can cause some lag. Next we have the flatten brush. For that, let's go ahead and head to the nether in order to show this one off. Now, in the nether, say I wanted to flatten this area right here so that it is all on this level. Then I simply click, drag, and look at that. It's flattening the area, but I have an issue. It's also removing the ceiling. If I want to undo that, I simply reduce the height. Now, when I click and drag, not only is it faster because it's changing less blocks, but it also doesn't affect the ceiling. Radius is pretty self-explanatory. Larger the radius, the more blocks you fill at once. Next we have the Smart Fill tool. It'll choose a 8x8 area or whatever number you have chosen, and it will simply fill it with whatever block you have chosen. So if I wanted to fill it with moss, it'll fill all but the air with moss. It will also only fill the block that you chose. So by clicking on netherrack, it is filling netherrack. If I click on nether gold, it fills nether gold. Next we have the train tool. I believe this is just like the brush tool, but I have not been able to get it to work, so I'm going to skip over that for now. We have the extrude tool. This one is really nice. It allows you to take a shape and make it longer. So if I wanted to take these nether gold and make just a really long pillar coming out of them, then I simply click on the face I wish to extrude, and bam. Or if I wanted to shorten them, I simply go up here, click on the decrease instead, and they disappear. If I wanted to not just do nether gold, but also everything around it, I can go down here and click solid blocks or all blocks. If I click solid blocks, then it won't fill stuff like mushrooms. But if I click all blocks, then it will repeat stuff like mushrooms, or torches, or signs, whatever it may be. You can also click has adjacent blocks. When this is clicked, what will happen is, even if I have two areas separated like this, it'll extrude both of them, and when this is unselected, it'll only extrude blocks that are connected to it, to the block that I choose. You can also change how many layers you extrude by, or how big of an area you extrude. Next, we have the repeat tool, which works in tandem with the selection tool. So say I wanted to select something like this tree right here. I think the tree's cool, whatever it may be. And I want this tree to play throughout the nether over and over and over. Then I can go to the repeater tool, and if I want it to repeat 100 times, then it will. But currently they're phasing into each other, which doesn't look very good. So I can space them out further, make them 10 blocks apart. Or if I want them touching, then let's see, this is 5 blocks, I can make them 5 blocks apart, and they'll be touching. Or if I wanted to go diagonally, then I can make it 5 blocks on the X and 5 blocks on the Z. Obviously negatives work, so if I had -5, -5, it would go in this direction instead. You can also go up and down. And then once I hit apply, it'll make that many repetitions all the way until it runs into the void or goes to all 100 repetitions. Next, we have farm generator. This one is interesting. I'm not quite sure why this one exists, but I'm sure that there is some use for it. I have found one. It is a way to generate nether water. That's right. If you select add irrigation, then it'll put water in your farm, even in the nether. And just like that, we now have water in the nether. But it's pretty simple. Select which crops you want, which animals you want, and the size, and the fence type that you want surrounding it. And then once you click, it produces that farm into the ground. Now that we are done with all of these tools on the left rail here, let's focus on the hotbar. These are not the only 9 blocks that you can use. If you want to change them out for a different block, simply select the block, select it again, search up what block you want, say diamond block, hit confirm, and now it has been changed. So if I want to fill this area with diamonds, I can. Now if I want multiple different hotbars, what I can do is I can hit save as new hotbar, give it a name like, I don't know, valuables. Hit confirm, and now when I hit manage hotbars, if I look over here, I have the default and the valuables, and I can edit the valuables. So I can add in emerald, deep slate emerald ore. I can add in gold, block of raw gold, and pretty much just whatever I want. Let's see, what else is valuable? Iron. Some blocks of iron. Now you can actually make it so that multiple blocks get filled. So if I wanted my filling area to be 20% gold, or 20% glowstone, 50% iron, and 30% grass, then I simply add in the numbers, and now when I change to valuables and go to 5, when I select an area and hit fill, it will change it with all of those blocks in those weights. Very convenient. Like it a lot, the ability to use multiple blocks instead of just one. what that is, what the hotbar is. So next, let's look at these options up here. We have undo, redo, pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure you've seen it before. You can also use Ctrl-Z to undo, Ctrl-Y to redo. Then there is attach debugger. I have not been able to get this to work. Every single time it just says failed to start debugger. So could be beta, could be that I'm just using it wrong, but I'm gonna gloss over that for now and maybe I'll find out how it works later. Now let's look at copy. You already know what that is. It's just Ctrl-C. Crosshair mode, this one's interesting. If you don't want to place in block by block, like this brush, go to single block. If you don't want to place it in like this, say you just want to fly around as if you're in creative and place blocks like that, you can select crosshair mode, and now you can do just that. You can phase through blocks, you can select blocks, you can place them in just like a regular Minecraft world. Now in this mode, you do not have to hold right click in order to move your camera and use WASD, shift, and space. In order to exit this, you can use Control Tab, which is also the shortcut for getting into crosshair mode, or you can use Escape. Next, we have Cut, which is like copy, but instead it actually deletes everything in the area. So if I were to select from here to here and then hit cut, it will delete everything in the area. Now I can paste it elsewhere using Ctrl-V. Next, we have hotbars. I already showed you hotbars. All it does is open up this tab on the side. So if I close this out, click on hotbars, just opens it up. Pretty simple. Next, we have keyboard settings. This is just your keybinds. This is all of your shortcuts. Pretty simple. If you want to go through and memorize all of these, you can, but I have not. So after keyboard settings, we have navigation panel. This one is pretty nice. For this, let's go into the overworld. Now what the navigation panel allows you to do is it allows you to, well, navigate easier. So you select on the navigation panel, it shows up on the right over here, and you can put in coordinates and it teleports to location. Or if you select show map, it'll take a second. Now I can click on the map and it'll take me straight to where I clicked. So if I click up on this beach, it'll take me to the beach. You can change the size of the map so that you can teleport yourself further away. Just like that. You can also store locations. That is very convenient. Like say I wanted to be able to get back to this jungle biome without having to memorize the coordinates. I can simply insert a name, hit store current location, and then if I teleport 1,000 blocks away, if I ever want to get back, I don't have to worry about memorizing coordinates, just have to go to the drop down menu, select the stored location, and hit teleport to stored location. And I'm back. If I ever don't need a location anymore, just select the location and then I delete stored location. Very convenient, I like it a lot. After navigation panel, we have redo and undo, which are already up here and I already showed you. We have reload. When you select reload, it will reload the chunks. It will deselect any area that you have selected and it will change your time back to new. Not sure what it could be used for, but I'm sure it could be useful somewhere. We also have structures. I have not been able to get structures to work. I got it to work once, but it has not worked since, so hopefully they fix it, whatever the problem is. Could be a me problem, I don't know. But just gonna gloss over that for now. Anyways, we have gone through everything in here. So now, let's focus on up here. We have File, UI Settings. This allows you to change the scale. For the sake of the video, I'm keeping it at 100% scale, 100% font. But when playing by myself, I prefer 50% scale with 200% font. Allows the UI to be out of the way while I can still read the text. I'm going to go ahead and change it back. Theme, we have dark, weird, cool, and interesting. No one chooses light, unless you want to blind yourself. I'm going to leave it on redstone from now on, but obviously to each their own. Next we have cursor settings. This is just the project through water. You can deselect it, and now it will not project through water, as you can see here. And if you reselect it, now it will. Pretty simple. Next we have game menu. This is pretty much pause. Allows you to resume editing, go to settings, change how the world will work after you export it, or save and quit. Pretty simple. Next we have export. Now for me, the export button does not work. Could be beta, could be me, but I will show you how to export later. We have edit, undo, redo, quick fill. This just fills the area you have selected, deselect, deselects the area you have selected, and delete. Those are the three actions right here. You can just go up here if you want to choose them. Copy, Control-C, cut. I already showed you how to do all of this. Next we have view. Now the log panel actually shows you, stuff that's gone wrong, stuff, what happened, what you did. So, for example, when I teleported around, it said teleported, and if, say, I had nothing selected, and then try filling, then it'll say no selection available to fill. Pretty much just tells you what's happened in the world, what you've done. It keeps a log of everything, pretty much, just like its name implies. Next we have navigation logging. And I'm not quite sure what this does. But I believe I'm not sure what it does. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that off for now. We have deferred lighting settings. This doesn't work for me. Anytime I click on any of them, it just says errors occurred. Could be beta, could be me. Maybe this is like RTX or something, and I just can't do RTX. But I'm going to skip over that for now. Next we have locate. It allows you to locate a specific biome. Later they'll probably add stuff like structures, but currently it's just biome. So if I wanted to know where the nearest mutated desert was, I can select find biome, and there is no mutated desert near me. So if I wanted to go to a deep dark instead, find biome, it'll locate it, tell me the coordinates, and if I just want to go straight there, I can hit go to, and bam. Beneath me is a deep dark. Somewhere beneath me is a deep dark. After that, we have view settings, which just shows you the settings of, what you're viewing. So what you can do is you can change your fly speed here. I prefer to bump it all the way up, since I like going around fast and feel like I'm pretty accurate with it. Something annoying is that it does not change your speed up and down. It is the same as 1 as it is at 10. You can also select show invisible blocks, stuff like barriers, structure voids, just stuff you can't see normally. You can show chunk boundaries. Pretty sure you should already know what this is. And show compass. That is the little thing that has been up here this whole time. If you didn't know, -Z is north, so I'm currently facing north, east, south, west. Pretty simple. You can click on one of the axes and it'll take you straight to facing that way. I'm going to go ahead and turn off show chunk boundaries for now. And that is all we have for view. So now let's go to world options. Under world options we have pause. Currently all that we can pause is entities. So this entire time entities have not been moving in my world. But if I want to make them so that they do move, I can simply unselect them and they are no longer paused and are free to move. And then if I want to freeze them again, bam, now they are freezed. Change dimension, I've already showed you how that works. Test world, what this will do is this will put you in whatever game mode you select in this world. So it's very convenient. You can select your game mode, your difficulty, spawn at current location where you are in the world, or at the spawn just by deselecting that. You can also change the daytime, the weather, pretty simple stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what happens when you test the world. And here I am, in the world right beneath where I was flying, playing it just like a regular game of Minecraft. You can break blocks, place blocks, mine all the carrots, throw them onto the ground, summon the Ender Dragon, pretty simple stuff, or blow myself up. However, something cool about this test world is that when I return to the editor, all the changes I made are reverted. The carrots are still there, there's no Ender Dragon, and there's no explosion. So it allows you to do whatever you want, but then undo it all with the click of a button. Real convenient. We have time of day settings. If you're European, you can choose the 24-hour clock. If you're American, you can choose the 12-hour clock. Or if you're Steve, you can choose the Minecraft clock. We have 3 settings for how time passes. You can have normal. Time passes at a normal speed. And you can have always day, where it is locked to noon. Or we can have lock time, which means that it can be whatever time you want, but it'll lock it at that time and it will not move. Or you can use the slider for a custom time of day. Pretty simple. Allows you to get nice shots just like this. The Minecraft landscape. Next we have weather. 3 options. Pretty simple. Whatever you select, it'll change to. Then we have help. We have quick start, which will open the window that you saw when you first opened it up. Documentation, which will open up the tab of Microsoft telling you how to use it. And feedback, which will open up the tab where you can tell Microsoft what you think, how they can change it, how they can make it better. Real convenient. That is pretty much all of it. But before we go, I'm going to go ahead and show a little something you can do with the extrude tool. I'm going to make a castle out of diamond blocks with just the extrude tool. So let's go ahead and time-lapse that. First, I need 1 diamond block right there. And watch this. And here it is, my castle made of diamond. It may have taken me a little bit of time, but not nearly as much as it would have taken me if I did it by hand, or even using the fill tool. Very convenient, like it a lot. Thank you all for watching, but before I go, let me show you all how to export this world. Simply go to File, Game Menu, Save and Quit, then hit Edit. Now if you want to change some of the settings before you do this, go ahead and do that. And then scroll down to the bottom under Game, hit Export World, and then export it as a .mc world file, and then simply exit Minecraft, open up folder, double click, it'll open up regular Minecraft, and here it'll be imported straight into Minecraft. And now we can play the world that I just made as a regular Minecraft world. And that is all, folks. Thank you to anyone who liked, thank you to those who subscribed, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!